Welcome everyone to this fifth Clover session. It is our fifth and our last session of this mini course. And as you well know, it's going to be dedicated to present different experiences, study cases that participants of the course know well. So thank you very much for all of you that have written me this week to propose experiences and cases. In the end, we are going to have six different experiences. And as we have only 1 hour and a half, it is going to be needed that speakers keep or stick to the 10 minutes that you all have. If you want, I can remind you when you have 2 minutes left, so you can adapt to that time. And for those of you that have questions, it is good if we do all together in the end after the last speaker finishes, and we have you can write it down and just keep them until that discussion time all together at the end of the session. So without further ado, let's start with the study cases. The first one is going to be Eduardo Nebola, who is going to tell us about the technology and community involvement for wildfires prevention. Eduardo, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, can you see the screen? Wait a second. Is full screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yes, as Maria said, I will present 2 ways that we use in our WWF policies to prevent wildfires in Italy that are the main threats of a forest, at least for us, as for other also Mediterranean countries. So since there are several ways to prevent forest fires, the first one we adopt is the community involvement. We are in the north of Italy. We have more than 100 areas, natural areas that we manage in Italy. In this case, we are in the north of Italy. And this idea is because in Italy, the forest fires are increasing the frequency and the intensity. And so usually the firefighting is ineffective, always more and more ineffective. So since the fires are changing, also the strategies to prevent fires must adapt and change as well. And in this case, as I just said, the prevention is indispensable. And we thought about the community involvement because there are other few examples in Italy and in Europe of this community involvement for wildfire prevention. But most of them are, let's say, in theory on the paper. So there are some, this article that you can see in the screen, but not a lot on the field implemented. So basically our proposal in the green, you can see our reserve, the natural area. In yellow, you can see the urban areas. And in this blue, you can see this urban nature interwinding. That is where the emission of a wildfire is higher, because there people can use fire for several reasons. For example, to burn the vegetable residuals. And if the fire starts here, it develops very easily in the natural reserve. So this is the risk. So we involved in the project the municipalities, the public administration, experts, of course, but also especially the local communities, so citizens, farmers, forest owners, and so on. As I just said, the goals are several of these projects. So make the community involved in wildfire prevention, minimize the negligent emissions, obtain a landscape and a territory that is less vulnerable and more resilient, and valorize the plant residue and of course the replicability. And we do this in several ways, with training and awareness raising events, with alternative practice to burning, because we want of course to give an alternative to the people. And so how to manage these fuel loads in the agro-silvicultural practices, and also to create new short supply chains with short bioeconomy. So this is an example, some picture from the first training that we had last year. This was more, let's say, in theory, where the experts talked about wildfire risk, best practices that you can use for wildfire prevention, how to reuse to manage the residue, and so on. The involvement, these are a few examples. We drafted this memorandum of understanding. Basically, this is a mutual agreement to implement the good practices in the respective properties, and also share the criteria between the parties. So, as I said, WWF Italy, so us, the public administration, and the private citizen. And this is an example of this memorandum of understanding. WWF Italy, who's expert in the field, in touch with the citizen, and we finance the tools to prevent forest fires, for example, to manage these residuals. The municipality monitor more on the local, what is going on at local level, and the private instead need to implement these good practices on their respective properties. We will have next month this practical event, so we will approve the memorandum of understanding and we will demonstrate to the private these good practices. For example, we will give some alternatives to burning, and we will show how to manage the plant fuels. And this is an example of what you can obtain from this residual in alternative to burning. And this is the result that we expect. So sensibilize the territory, the creation of this forest smart community, to have some hectares of territory made less vulnerable, and yeah, to develop a methodology that can be also replicated abroad. So this is the first project. We have a second one in Naples that is very similar. Let's say the action. So I will not repeat everything. I will just show you the context. If you have been in Italy, this is Naples in the center, but this is also the most densely populated area in Italy, in the whole country. More than 3-4 million people live here. And I don't know if you can guess where our oasis is. Not this big green area. This is the volcano, so this is also a very dangerous area. Our area is this one. Is a next volcano, but now is a state nature reserve, Nature 2000 area. And is a mixed evergreen in deciduous forest. So a little area with a lot of biodiversity in a very densely populated context. So is the one here in the red circle. So as I said, I will not repeat everything, all the action, but yeah, basically in few words, we make the community again more responsible and aware of the actions, because most of the fires, as you can see in the left picture, were started outside of the nature reserve, of course, but then the risk is that they develop inside the reserve. And also, we want to make the citizen and the private active in the protection of the natural area. Last but not least, if I have still 2 or 3 minutes, there is the second project. I mean, third, but a different type, which is in these three areas in Italy. You can see in the top left picture, north and in the center of Italy. In this case, the practice that we use is not community involvement, but the use of IoT, which is basically artificial intelligence and technologies. As you can see, okay, these are Italian words, but basically wildfire prevention is not only expert involvement, is, I don't know, restoration, coordination, raise awareness, education, forest management, planning, a lot of things, but it's also research and technology. So basically for this project, we did a collaboration with Inuit, which is an Italian tower operator, as you can see in this picture. So they do very different things from WWF. They deals with the technologies. Basically, they give internet to all the computers and mobile phones in Italy. But as you can see, they have very high towers spread in Italy. They have 23,000, and sometimes these towers are also in very natural context. So we thought to join our forces and competencies, in this case for wildfire prevention, because in this tower, which are a property of Inuit, this is a society, we could put some thermal cameras that can serve for wildfire prevention. As I show you before, we included 3 OSIs in this first pilot, and we installed a total of 14 thermal cameras in these towers. And this is an example as the thermal camera works. So in the center of the tower, And in this case, you have 5 thermal cameras installed, and that can cover not at 360 degrees, but I mean, where there is natural area that need to be protected and where you need to prevent the fire. As I said, this pilot was last year. These are the pictures that were taken from few of the cameras installed. And basically, this pilot show us that the technology is a valuable tool for the protection of the habitats, biodiversity, because in this picture you can see 2 cases where the technology was able to alert the fire in the very beginning stage. Okay, in the first picture is more in a urban context, but in the second one is more really at the border with the natural reserve of our Aussie. So we don't know what would have happened if without the installation of this technology, maybe nothing, maybe the fire would have spread inside the reserve and you would have had a natural disaster. We don't know, but we don't want to know because this was the goal of this project. So I can say that, yeah, this pilot was a good one. We had some results, and that's it. Then I have another project, but this is about forest restoration, so I don't want to talk more. I will leave the floor to the other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 10 minutes. You have stick very well to the time. Thank you for that. And next one is sorry. Next one is Lucia.
Yeah.
And share your screen.
I'm starting my countdown as well, so make sure I will stick to the 10 minutes. So please just let me know if it's in full screen now.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, okay. So I'm Lucia, I'm from Reteza National Park, the first park in Romania. You'll see the mountain range over here. And I started working at the park 4 years ago on a project for the revising management plan. I'm in charge of communication. So I will talk about the engagement of stakeholders in the revising of the management plan. Just a little bit short, I'll tell you a little bit about our history. Just really short, because you must know we are a special case in Romania. So we are in the western part of Romania. That's where my park is located. And this short history is not that short, but just wanted to underline the fact that this area was protected since the late 1800s, when it was a hunting ground for His Majesty. Then in 1935, a professor made the Retezat National Park, 2 professors actually, and it was 100 kilometers square. So you must know that this is the first park in Romania. I will fast forward to the early 90s, when some specialists from Romania went to the States and saw how the parks were made over there, and came back and made 3 pilot parks, the first one was Retezat National Park. So you must understand that our park was the first one and has a little bit of tradition. So the communities around us are a little bit more used for this area to be protected since like all time. So our job is a little bit easier in engaging with the communities. And at the same time, I would like to underline the fact that you will see we are only 17 people. There are so many people who worked for this protected area. So the results are actually shared results. So we started the project in 2018. We are the Retezat National Park Administration. We are a unit within the National Forest Authority Romsilva, and we have in administration Retezat National Park and 2 Natura 2000 sites, Rosci and Rospa. You will see over here. So the park overlaps with the Rospa, and Rosci goes just a little bit bigger. The species, we have a lot of species, and because of the natural habitat, we have very good populations of them. The habitats, so you just know we are more than 50% forests, alpine meadows and rocks, and aquatic habitats 1%. As I said, it is a very wild area. We do not have communities residing within the national park. And as I said, we are only 17 people, so we cannot do all of the jobs ourselves. So we must rely on strong partnerships with the communities, with other stakeholders. Of course, our mission is to manage and preserve the Rest-Tezat National Park. And we are doing this by controlling, guarding, monitoring projects, permits, and so on. Of course, we need to collaborate with all of the stakeholders in order to do so. How it started, how it's going, just again, to underline the fact that there are so many people working and loving this area. So what you would see in the first picture is actually even my grandmother is over there, and they came from Italy, from Udine, and they were working for forestry over there. And now we are here, we are with the administration, but between this, there have been so many people working. So for the revising of the management plan, we had a budget of 4 million euros. We had 2 years in which we had 150 specialists going inside on the field in the park. So we had 3 public versions of the management plan, and we had 26 meetings with the stakeholders. And at the same time, because this happened during the pandemic, we also had a very online transparent communication. This was very, very important for us because we are the first park in Romania, so we have this prestige, and everybody who had their eyes on us. So we want to be really, really transparent with every decision. And also you will see, right, we have 8 municipalities in 3 counties. So we had to talk with all of the local authorities, regional authorities, national authorities. But at the same time, we got to the communities, we got to the NGOs, not just in the area, but everyone could send their requests via email if they couldn't be part of the debates and in the meetings. Again, this happened during COVID, so we were really trying to get to everybody, despite the fact that we couldn't meet in very large numbers. So what we did was having a very, very head-on online also approach. So everybody could send us emails, and we actually got, even from like regular people, we answered to those emails. There were more than 150, but we took time because we knew it's very important to be as inclusive as we can. Also, and this is a little bit funny, some NGOs couldn't be for the final debate, and they said, could you facilitate in any way for us to be there? And we didn't have any technology, so we just the use of a laptop and a couple of phones. We managed to bring them as well over there. You must understand that we come from the rural area, so we have very limited technologies. I mean, we do have phones and everything, but we don't have like conference rooms and big, so we could do that. However, we put everything online, and even the final debate was online live on Facebook, so everybody could see it, and our responses for every stakeholder, of course they would get them from us, but at the same time we made a compel for every answer, and we posted online, so everybody could also take accountability on what they requested and what they said. And of course we are doing this, but yeah, it was a very participatory process. Of course, you've seen this before in the second week. Where were we? this is an open question for us. I would say just above the informing and consulting in partnership, not yet, because we still are making the decision. But it will be best for us to get to the citizens to decide and to take accountability. So that's why we have an ongoing meetings with them. And if the mayor from a municipality has a meeting on Sunday at 6 p.m., I will be there, just because this trust goes for years. I mean, we need to build on that. The ending of this was, you will see this is the zoning inside the Retezat National Park. Before, you will see the red core area, right? That's the strictly protected, and you'll see this orange one. It's also in integral protected, and you will see that we managed to extend that strictly protected and all of the core areas. This was because we were able to do this ping pong and feedback with the stakeholders. Those who have the properties inside the park accepted to do so, and we are really proud of this. But this is not our accomplishment. This is a joint accomplishment for everybody. So that's what I wanted to show you, that through constant and through constant feedback with the stakeholders and working for a long time and transparency, you can get to the best results. And that's 10 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucia. Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. The next one I have in my list is Miguel. Miguel, are you there? Because I can see your picture, but I can see you.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
Okay.
you are.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Maria.
Do you
Just
have a
minute.
presentation?
Yeah, I'm going. Yes.
Okay.
Just fixing the slide
So
here, and I'm going to
let's
open it right now and share it with you. Mhm. Okay, can you see my screen right now?
yes.
Is it working?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. 10 minutes, Miguel.
Okay, let's
Stick
go.
to them.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'll try. So this is a little bit different because we in this project we are not working with local agents. I mean private agents. This project is more inside the state, the government, not the government, but we are officials. So this is the National Agency for Nature Protection. And we had this task of converting the former master plans for every national level protected area into new programs to adapt to European law. So we needed inside this agency, we needed to negotiate with regional partners and also with the private consultants that helped us during the process. So this is more or less how it works. So we had a procedure for a private tender to contract the consultants to help us doing this. We had a methodology, phasings, timelines, etc. We had to articulate very well, and here co-learning really is a tool that can help us a lot doing this. Also, the preparation of the materials for the consultants to work with, because they are not used to the legal framework of the state. This was a very hard task to speak the same language, so to say. And also a big problem is deadlines. We are working with European law. We are working with the management of protected areas, and this brings a lot of stuff. So to keep the deadlines is really complicated sometimes. So the idea is to convert master plans to special programs. That's terminology of our law. Maybe you have cases in your countries that have been done somehow similar. So it would be very nice to discuss this and learn from your experiences. I belong to the headquarters, so we need to prepare a supporting materials like a document also all the regulations. And we did the consistency matrices, which was a method of having big Excel sheets in which you try to forecast every possibility that your plan will manage. So, for example, wolf attacks, wildfires, drone flights through very sensitive areas. We had to think about the former law and how to adapt it to new challenges. And also, we have written a procedure material manual, a very big one, and yeah, it was a lot of work. And we had already done inside my department the new programs for national protected areas. So we learned a lot from that process, and those lessons were brought into this new project. So more or less five phases. I don't want to lose too much time with this. We'll go on, but just to get an idea, this is a lot of paperwork and discussions and meetings. But the most important of all is to speak the same language. So get the people to sit, discuss things, and tell them what we need to in order to get in the final a new draft for the programs for the protected areas. More or less the timeline. So not that much time. So you see, more or less 2 years. It's not much for such a complicated because it's 20 very different protected areas, as you'll see right now. So the areas are more on the right is the National Protected Area Network. And on the left, you can see all the classifications that we have, like Natura 2000 sites, also Ramsar sites, and other biosphere reserves. So you see, sometimes there is some overlapping, but the situation is that the protected areas are not abiding the communitary law right now because they need these new programs. So we are speeding up to get the thumbs up. More or less the distribution of it. And as you see more to the north, we have still the biogeographic Atlantic region, and most of the country is under the Mediterranean biogeographic region. So different problems, different areas, different fauna and flora, and also different pressures. We'll go through this in a minute. So the north is more or less transition between Atlantic and Mediterranean biogeographic region, central and Portugal and Tagus River Valley, more Mediterranean one. Those two lots were in this region. In the south, we have Alentejo region, very dry one, and then Algarve, the touristic region with different pressures. So to the north, we have these. The first lot was for protected areas. The fourth one is going to come on the next slide. So Montezinho Natural Park, the major threats are wildfires, also wolf management, and some other problems. Douro International Natural Park, the droughts are it's a very dry area. So the drought is somehow a very big problem, and also bird management. For example, vultures and other projects that have been going on to recover those populations, but also have some conflicts with the local people about cattle and other management. And also Alvão Natural Park, a lot of wildfires, and also pulp plantations on the surroundings of the park. So those are the major threats. And these co-learning methodologies can help teach our partners in the regions how to deal with the local agents, and then bring it to the new management programs. In the center, there is more tourism, also wildfires and plantations. And on wetlands, water management and intensive farming are a very, very big problem. So we are learning how to do better programs to the future so that we can manage those conflicts. Also, invasive alien species. This is a major problem here in the Western Mediterranean, and we are suffering a lot from it. So we need to find ways to deal with it. More to the south, we have some littoral coastal protected areas with a lot of urban sprawl and tourism, and also conflicts. So building better programs to the future will help us to tackle those challenges. Also, a lot of drought problems, managing of tourism, and of course, intensive farming. So we can see here in the coastal, for example, the Tagus and the Sado estuary are very important bird sites for bird watching and for bird migration. And dealing with these intensive populated areas is somehow tricky. So we are learning a lot from our colleagues on the regions and also trying to build better programs. Alentejo is suffering a lot from drought. So here, well, also wildfires pose a big problem. And more to the coast, we have the Sant Andrea and Sancho lagoons with fishing problems, tourism, urban sprawl, and a lot of invasive species. So dealing with these are the major problems we're having. And my final slide would be this one on the Algarve region that some of you know about tourism, very touristic place. So having protected areas there is not that easy. Also, we have a lot of intensive farming and farming that uses a lot of water. So this poses big problems for wildlife and natural values management. Also, there are a lot of problems with drone flights because a lot of tourists bring their drones to fly them over the protected areas. We need to enforce this, and also the urban sprawl. So a lot of land reclamation for development for tourist facilities, and somehow this is a problem we cannot avoid, and we need to write good programs so that people abide them. And yeah, the final word is co-learning about this course. So what I've learned from these sessions is that using co-learn tools are not just for outer agents, but also inside your organization. This can help us a lot solving problems, finding ways together, and learning with each other. So yeah, this was more or less what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel, for this interesting presentation. The next one, I have my list is Lenka with the Gisela Mountains Beach Forest. Lenka? Yes, you're there.
Yes, hello. I'll try to share the screen. Yes. Okay, can you see it right now?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So I will add another part of puzzle from our European meeting. So I would like to show you one nice place we have here in the Czech Republic, and it's the Jezera Mountains Beach Forest, which is quite special. But first I will show you where exactly we are. So it's like in the Czech Republic, in the middle of the Europe. And as you can see, it's in the Jezerské hory, which is a protected landscape area up to north of the Czech Republic. And in this small map, you can see the green spots are the other protected landscape area, and the gray ones are our national parks. I work in the National Conservation Agency, and we are managing the green spots. And the national parks have their own like offices, so they are sort of apart, and they do have their own budget for everything, and which we feel like a lack of. They have their own budget for the tourist informations, interpretations, and also the guides and the guards. And we in the protected landscape areas do not have the budget for this. So this is one thing I want to mention because of the later things. And the other one note I have here is the over-tourism, because as the Jezerské hory are the closest mountains to our capital, which is somewhere here in the middle. And there is a highway, so you can go by car from the Prague like in an hour. So it's people from Prague are used to go to our mountains in the afternoon after their work, just to take their families and go for a bike ride in the mountains or for the skiing in the winter. So that I want to mention too for the interpretation I will be talking later. And here is just detail about the protected landscape area. And if you can see the red spots and the orange ones, so within this large protected areas are those nature reserves, which are those spots. And I'm gonna talk about the forest, beech forest, which is mainly here in the northern part of the protected landscape area. And yeah, the beech is quite common species in the Czech Republic and also in the Europe. I have this picture here because of the beech habitat here, but it's the only habitat of the beech in the world. So even though it's quite common here, it's a very rare species for the world flora. So I think it's important to tell because of the next things I'm gonna mention. And just to get know what's quite common here in the middle of the Europe, we do have these species also in the beech forests. And this particular location of the Jezera Mountains beech forests is special in our country because it's also untouched because of the hard access. You can see there are rocky slopes rather far from the settlements. So it's very rare, and to have here such untouched forests, they are rather close to the nature. And as we talked the last session, there are all phases of basic forest cycle. And I'm sharing nice pictures of my colleagues here now with you, just to see how diversity we do have. Sadly, we do have some invading species too. And what is quite interesting for me, the last years we make more and more like monitorings of the species in the beech forests, and it's very interesting with these groups like fungi, mosses, and lichens, because wherever there is some inventarization, they found new species for all world there. So I think there is a great potential if you want to be famous to find your own species, just find some lichen. And for these outstanding values, there were like need to protect them. So the first attempts were in 1960s, where there were 7 nature reserves in this beech forest. And in 1992, they were like connected together by some buffer protection zones. And it's one national nature reserves called the Jezera Mountains Beech Forest. And as the previous speaker told, there are usually several layers of the protections, and here you can see the years where some layers of protection were laid on the area. In 2004 and 2005, the Natura 2000 so this location was added to Natura 2000, and it's part of the bird area because of the, like, I think the owl, Aegiolius funereus, and also the part of the habitat area, Jezersko-Horské bučiny, because of the habitats, mostly because of the beech forest. So that was the protection provided by government. And here we have the core part of this beech forest, which is now also protected by I have to say owner, but it's a bit schizophrenic because the owner is also state, but it's represented by the company called Czech Foresters. And this is a state company, and its big like aim is to provide some profit from the forests. So they are not nature protectionist of the forest habitats, but they try to harvest some wood from there. So it's very important that there is a signed agreement between National Conservation Agency and this state company about the management-free zone, which is like 73 hectares from this natural reserves. And at the end, the last like layer of protection was added in 2021, where this nature reserve was added to a UNESCO World Heritage List. It's the only natural site in the Czech Republic, and it's a part of the site called Ancient and Primeval Beech Forest of the Carpathians and other regions of Europe, which is exactly what Santos was talking about in his video, that this is really precise name, but no one will call it like this. We had a work group called UNESCO Beach Site, which is quite more friendly. Not as cool as Urdaibai, but I think still okay. And I think all of you know about this site because, as you can see on the map, I think almost all countries we are here has its own red spot there. And I just want to say it was established in 2007 in Slovakia and Ukrainian border, so it's quite old site. But the important things for the interpretation here is that we feel like the locals people, they live in the mountains and they quite don't care. And if they are not particularly interested in the natural protection, they just feel that there is some forest in their backyard and there is some maybe strange old trees with a lot of dead wood on the floor. But now they felt like sort of a wow moment that this could be something really interesting for whole world. So, and that is why I started to talk about the overtourism, because this was the first thing we heard from the locals, that, oh my God, it will bring more Chinese tourists to our forest and they will be walking through our backyard. And there were several meetings with the public and also in cooperations with the municipalities, destination agency, forest management authorities, and also governmental organizations. And that was big luck for my organization because we do not have the budget for the guards and for the interpretations and PR. So it was really a good coincidence that the local action group was willing to like take this step in and take this goal to provide the interpretation. And they also are member of some or partner on the Interreg Central Europe project called Healthy Forest Regions, which aims to cooperating for a greener Central Europe. It's sort of their yeah, and the main goal is to like help the locals sort of interpret and share their home and environment with the visitors. And there is very important that they say that they want to help to show and also protect the area because of the overtourism. So this is the last slide. I think it's just the aim of the project during these years to provide provide the service and help for the locals to aim and to gain some advantage from this UNESCO locality and to sort of share and maybe even help to use the sign of UNESCO and natural protection for their own good and not to be just afraid of some more people coming to their homes. So that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Lenka, for this wonderful presentation. And I think that we can go now with Tibor. You have 10 minutes. I know that I told you that 5, but I think you can, because all of your colleagues have been so good with the time, you can use 10 as well.
Okay, thank you for
Yes.
the kind offer.
No, thank you.
So I would like to present you today project about just a minute. Do you see the presentation?
It is not full screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to uh, manage this. Just a minute. No, sorry for the. Okay, and sorry, I'm actually yes. Okay, now it should be.
Yes, perfect.
Do you see it? Okay, perfect. So I would like to present today very small projects regarding some conservation measures related to forestry and, of course, water in the forest. So I'm a forester from Romania, and I am coming from the practitioner side. I had 15 years active forestry practice in my background. So I was always looking for projects which actually could enhance the local forest practice. And I identified a very huge problem regarding forest harvesting. Of course, we have in Romania almost 7 million hectares of forest, which are actually very rich. So they are a very high value forest, but also we have a lot of local communities and forestry industry which uses the products of the forest, especially the timber. And unfortunately, we are dealing with a problem of law enforcement. So actually, what is happening in the field, in the forestry practice, and what are our procedures and our laws, there is a huge difference. And I think one of the most destructive parts of forestry is actually the harvesting. So of course we use the wood. The wood is a wonderful material which can substitute a lot of plastic or concrete in construction. But of course it has to be harvested and it has to be transported from the forest to the industrial sites. And this process itself, the harvesting process, it's a very destructive one if people are not prepared for this. And this was the base of our concept, that we have a lot of streams, water flows, mountain rivers in those forest areas in which harvesting actually takes place. And unfortunately, even though our procedures and legal prescriptions are very clear on that, that you are not allowed to actually skid the timber through an open water flow, often it happens. So just a very simple example, an average forest harvesting site in Romania has roughly 1,000 cubic meter of logs, and an average load of skidder is 5 cubic meters. So in every forest harvesting site, a skidder must cross 200 times water flow. And basically, you can see here the map of Romanian forests. They are concentrated in the Carpathian Mountains. There are a lot of water flows around these forests, which has to be crossed. And often, unfortunately, my previous experience showed that often contractors don't use any kind of installments to bypass these water courses. So just a very simple real-time statistics. Now, for us for today, we have 62,000 active forest harvesting sites at the level of Romania, at the level of 7 million hectares of forest. So let's say that maybe 60% of this will cross at a certain point water flow, and it has to be crossed at least, let's say, not 200 times, just 100 times. So you can imagine which kind of destruction means this for the water courses. And I often do this presentation for my foresters and my practitioner colleagues. Also in the Romanian constitution, not to mention the UN declaration that actually the healthy environment is a human right. And most of the water, which is the key for the life, is coming to forests in all around the world. So it is very important how we protect these water bodies. Also, if we see the sustainable development goals to our mobile bridge project, 9 of the 17 sustainable goals are directly linked to this issue. Also, we have in the national forestry strategy several desires which are actually linked to our project. So to be a resilient and climate adaptive forestry, and also increasing the stability of the forest ecosystem against any disruptive action. It sustains our project. Of course, the voluntary forest management certification schemes, they are all having a view over in which way we are doing the forestry practice. And here we can enter then, of course, biodiversity in the forest depends a lot on clean water. So we have several species like indicator species, key species, or even endangered species, which are directly linked to clean water. So it is very important that the water is clean. And this is why we came up with this concept that we build a forestry mobile bridge, which can be packed and brought for the next forestry site. And this way we can actually save our water courses from the very negative impact of crossing directly to it. Actually, we do this mobile bridge in different lengths. The best one is the 7-meter length. So this is actually adapted to the local harvesting conditions and the local harvesting machines. It is very easily maneuvered, so it can be transported with the same machinery with which a usual average contractor would transport its logs or its own materials. So one of the basic concept was that you don't have to have any kind of special tools or special machineries to maneuver or to install this bridge. Of course, this is the most frequent way in Romania to actually transport wood from the forest outside to the forestry road. So we have this local skidder type, which is produced actually in Romania. The bridge was actually designed for this kind of transportation. This is a bridge which perfectly integrates in the circular bioeconomy. So it is made from wood. It is not treated with any kind of material. It is inside the bridge is actually sequestered 3,000 kilograms of CO2. It can be installed in 15 minutes, and the guarantee for safe use is 5 years. And it can save a lot of actually environmental damage. So it can guarantee that those environmental services which are provided by the forest, actually filtering the water and keeping continuous water circuits, will be uninterrupted. Some technical details for which kind of machinery is advised this mobile bridge. So actually it can bear up to 10,000 kilograms of weight. And also at the final point, one of the most critical problem of Romanian forestry is actually the forest harvesting. So it is very important that first of all, we explain people why we are harvesting the forest. And secondly, that we do it in a actually very safe and correct way. So we don't leave any kind of damage and any kind of negative impact in the forest. So this was it very shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tibor, for your nice presentation. We have one last presentation, which is Pachi, but I think that Pachi is still in a car. Isn't it right? So
I'm still on the road. I was following Inga's advice, and I am just coming from the forest. So I don't know if we have 5 minutes. I'm just very close to the office right now, or I can try to do it. Using the cell phone. But if you give me 5 minutes, I think I'll do it. I'll be on time. So up to you.
I think
I
we
can
can
share.
start the discussion and just, yes, wait for you to be in a real table with a real computer. It's going to be
Okay,
nicer
thank
for
you.
you.
So be
Yeah,
back to you.
don't rush, Patty. We don't want you to crash with your car, so
No,
take your time.
luckily I'm not the one driving. That's
Take your time because we have a lot of things to discuss now. So we can begin the discussion, and whenever you are ready, we can be with you for your last presentation. So don't worry.
Thank you.
So we can start the discussion. Any of you have any question for any of the speakers? Any of them? We don't have to follow an order.
Questions or commentaries?
Or comment, yeah. So
some projects that you know that are similar to those that have been exposed. So just feel free to open your microphone and begin the conversation.
So I would like to have maybe much more a conceptual question, because I was discussing with one of my colleagues who is actually working for the National Protected Area Management Office in Romania, or agency. And there was a very interesting topic related, and he is also a biologist. He has a lot of experience in biodiversity conservation. And I would be very interested on your opinion. We were discussing about big projects with complex integrated projects, and smaller point. So actually smaller projects which are focusing only a very limited subject or very limited matter. And he was on the actually he was claiming that we would need much more smaller projects which are actually focusing on solving one small issue, rather than having a very big several million euros project which are trying to implement a full range of let's say management prescriptions, for example. And it was very interesting for me to hear this aspect, because I also tend to think that focusing on smaller projects, it's much more effective than actually starting huge integrated projects. I would be very interesting on your insights on this matter.
Yeah, I think that the comment of Tibor is quite welcoming, precisely in this forum, because one of the richnesses of having you presenting your experiences, your projects, your parks, your areas, is that we can have a feeling of the diversity of not only of subjects. Like I am more like in the biodiversity part, I am more in the tourist part, I am more in the management part, but also this diversity of scales that Tibor was mentioning. And of course, I think that the answer is that we need to work at different scales, not all of us in all of the scales, but it's good to be conscious of that complementarity of working at different scales. And sometimes when we are working at, with a very broad picture, I don't know, Natura 2000 across Europe, whatever, and we forget about the importance of having some people, some teams working in very concrete, specific projects, very close to to the place, to the land, to the specific places, or to specific problems, as in the case of this interesting bridge project that Tibor has presented. So I think we need all of the scales, and sometimes it's good to, like we are doing now, meet together, share some points of view, and again be conscious, be aware of this diversity of approaches that probably in the end needs to be, as I said, complementary. But maybe you have another opinion, I don't know. For example, Miguel, you were talking from a very, let's say, big picture level. You showed us some maps of the whole of Portugal with the protected areas distributed in very different regions, etc. So how do you see this aspect? Working at this general level, sometimes you are in risk of losing sight of the real problems, or how do you see this?
Thank you, Santos. It's a very, very, very pertinent question. Yes, we do. So we must take care and try to avoid that danger, because areas are always unique. Each area has problems, even if you are comparing two wetlands. In some wetlands, the problems are so specific that you cannot transport it to other wetlands. So even comparing comparable areas, whereas when you have a national park, then a natural park, a nature reserve, or a natural monument, for instance, the scales sometimes are so different and the problems are so different that you cannot simply apply the same solution in one big place, and then in a small place it can provoke more damage than good things, you see. So one of the very important things is to involve people working in those areas, but I don't mean just the directors or the managers. I mean even the local rangers or someone that knows just a little bit of a topic, but like forestry, but that is there every day and sees it happening, can detect very early invasive species invasions, for instance, or has experience for several decades with fire management and can help us now finding the nice rules for the future. How can I say this? We have to work at the same time with the global perspective, but also the local idiosyncrasies. And without doing this, we can lose track of the good solutions, definitely, because problems are coming more and more. You see, more droughts, more wildfires, invasive species. The list, we have a national law with a list of invasive species. Every year it's growing, and the speed of invasion is amazing. So and terrible. So I think we really need to work in this co-learning methodology with all the involved people in order to solve problems. Yeah. So creativity and co-learning are definitely the way, more than this typical Southern European. We have a rigid state, and then people must do what you want. This doesn't work any longer. We need to involve all agents and discuss with them. And one of the things that this course brought to my attention was that conflict can be positive. I never thought about this. We always thought about conflict as being very negative for nature protection, but actually sometimes it can bring also good things. So yeah, I will definitely suggest these methodologies to my people, definitely. I don't know if I helped in the discussion, but this is really big stuff, really.
Oh yeah, it was exactly the type of comment that I was looking for. So thank you, Miguel. Daniela wants to say something, and maybe after Daniela we can go to Patsy Maria to see if he's ready. But for the moment we have Daniela.
Hello. Sorry, because in Albania it's a summer day and it's a national holiday, and I'm out. with my family. But okay, I want to thank all the presenter because I find so similarities with our challenges here in Albania. I want to uh, just to show a case very similar with the first presentation with wildfire. One of our NGOs that we support in Srebrenik National Park is dealing with shepherds and creating a monitoring for wildfires. And because the shepherd during the time that we have, the summertime that we have wildfires are near the mountains, are in these pastures in the mountain. And these are the first people that can see, identify a wildfire or fire, and they make a notification. And also during these 2 years that we had supported these groups of people, local people, we didn't have any fire, a big one. So it is one of the targets that we had reached. So what I want to say is so much important for us that we are working with the care to understand that the local community or the people that live nearby these areas are so important for our work and are so important for the nature conservation. And what we can do sometimes is just to show them uh, the importance of these ecosystems and how we can together with how we can protect and how we can work together for that kind of. And I want to thank because I find myself in all three presentations and many similarities. Also, it is that we are in the same territory, but yeah, thank you. Thank you anyway.
Thank you, Daniela. I don't know if Eduardo wants to add something to what Daniela said, or maybe we can try with Pachi.
Pachi, are you ready? Or not? It's coming.
I'm ready. So can I start then? Okay.
Yes,
So,
please. 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you for waiting. Sorry about that. I was with a group of kids. That tells a lot of my work. I work for Xarxa Forestal, and what I'm going to do is to show you our website where we have most of the information. You can find most of what we are about and what we do. Okay, so I will share my screen and see if I can. Okay, is this it? Let me see if I can. Oh. Can you see what is? I don't know why you're not. Are you?
You have to change the tab. You have to go to the Sarsa Forestal tab and close this one.
Yeah, that's the thing. I cannot. There is a menu here. Okay, okay, now. Okay, can you watch it now? The website.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so our organization is Sasha Forestal. We work for the Balearic government. I assume that all of you know about the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, Minorca, Ibiza, and Formentera. And Sasha Forestal is linked to the Balearic autonomous government. And what we do is to try to raise awareness about, forest conservation and also our about wildlife protection. We offer our, offer activities to everyone, but we focus a lot on school communities, and I will try to show you a bit using our website. This is our website. Is you can see sashaforestal.org is very easy to find, and who we are. Sorry, and the website is only Spanish and Catalan, but I think you'll get the idea. What we try to do is to create a network, especially with school communities, but also trying to invite everyone that is interested in forest protection or in knowing the biodiversity we have in our forest. What we do is we offer different activities all related with the forest. Show you. I'll show you we have different programs for every island, but I'm going to show you the one from Mallorca that where you have everything we do. So this is the program we send to the different schools and also to different associations and organizations where they can see what we do. This is the activity program for the school course of 2023-24, and here we have the index of different activities and a small presentation. And then we have different lectures that we give to the children that, as I said, talk about different topics always related with the forest that go from the diversity of the forest, but then also we focus on different inhabitants of the forest, different problems like the storms, how are affecting the forest here. In the last years there have been some storms that have really affected the forest here, wildfires, and how we try to deal with all this. This is about lectures. Then we have workshops. In workshops, what we try to do is to have more touch experiences, so the children can get a real feeling of what nature is. This is especially important in some of the schools that are seated in the big cities like Palma, like the main city of the Balearic Islands. And here we work with seeds and leaves and trunks and everything that we can take from the forest and bring to the school. Then we also, our favorite is to bring children to the forest. Today, before coming here, I took one school from Palma where children have really poor access to the forest, and they barely go to any place where they have trees. To a forest, I'll show you later, that is in the mountains of Tramontana, in the main mountains of Mallorca. And it was impressive how the children were playing and enjoying nature, because they don't usually get to see these habitats. Then we also take children. We usually take them to any forest, but the Balearic government has some different fincas that they have bought with the money coming from the touristic tax that every tourist pays here in Mallorca. And we organize different visits to these different fincas, so they get to know, the land that is owned by the government and shared by all the citizens of the Balearic Islands. We also take them to, this is the place where I was this morning. This is a finca, a very beautiful finca, the first one that was of public use in the Balearic Islands. And actually, it is the nursery, the plant nursery, where we produce the autochthonous plants for all the reforestations that we do in the Balearic Islands, and also produces a lot of autochthonous plant that people can buy at a very fair price, and also is used for gardens, school gardens, like the ones I'm going to show you later. And we also visit this place and show them around. There is a shield deck there, and there is also the seed bank. And as you can see, there is also a forest surrounding this plant nursery, and this is the place where we tell the children to. We usually play games with the children, and with these games, what we try to do is to raise awareness and also show them what nature is about, what the forests are about, what are the values of the forest, and also the problems of the forest. reforestations. We carry on with reforestations also. Luckily, we have had little problems with wildfires in the last years in the Balearic Islands, and that's really lucky because, as you know, with global change, this is getting worse. So we probably will have some in the future, but so far we have been quite lucky. And we are trying to work with the ones we started work some years ago. And we also offer the schools the possibility to create their own gardens using autochthonous plants coming from the plant nursery I showed you before. And these activities have a lot of success, and is a way to take the forest to the schools. And some of the schools get really involved, and it's a nice way for them to see them also working and using the different tools. We also have a lot of materials that are online. We produce posters, videos, guidebooks. I'll show you a little bit now if I have some time left. And also we share some different materials with the schools. We have Shilotech that people can borrow from us. And we are open to any activity that involves raising awareness on wildfires, as well to raising awareness. And then we are present in the different networks. We try to be in most of them. We have to say that lately we haven't been that active, but we try to not get touch with the different networks. And finally, we are open to any project that are offered to us that is related with the project and covers our objectives. This is what we have as I was saying, as a program. Then all this material, see if I can go back to the...
2 minutos, Pachi.
Vale, perfecto.
Sorry, 2 minutes.
Wow. Okay, just take a look at the website because it's worth it. And just here with this documentation, you have different publishings, different publications we have that you can download for free, okay, related with wildfires or different topics related with the forest. And also you have a videotheque where you can see some of the videos we have produced. For example, this here, what you have here is a small collection of the main forest we have in the Balearic Islands: the juniper tree forest, the wild olive tree forest, the oak tree forest, and the pine tree forest. So what we do is we try to use any way or method to approach forests to people here in the Balearic Islands. And just feel free to take a look at the website because I think maybe you can find some material interesting to you. And I'm done.
Thank you very much, Pachi. Thank you for the effort. I think we have some minutes for discussion before the concluding remarks and some announcements we have to make you. But any comment, question, to Pachi or to any of the other speakers? I have Pachi. Perfect. No, perfect.
So I was going to tell. I was following just the different presentations while in the car, and I have to say that I think that the course has become more and more interesting, and it's a pity because now that we are starting to know each other and to know what we can take a profit of the rest of the projects, this is ending. So I hope there is some light at the end of the tunnel to continue with this project because I feel really comfortable now. And instead of thinking some of the projects that our colleagues were showing and some of the things we were saying, they can be of use to me and probably of use to the rest of us.
Yeah, we all know that this has been a very, very short experience. and we are making the most of this small time we have to be together, especially in the 2 last sessions. We had 3 presentations the last week and 6 presentations, I think, in Maria today. So you know that tomorrow you will have a final online session, but not for our Clover group, but for the whole of the project. And maybe there you will hear of some perspectives of keeping, you know, the network. And of course, we all have our emails, so we are a network at this moment. But maybe tomorrow you will learn from Neil and Sandra, who are the project leaders, some ideas about the continuity in time of this network, of this discussion, etc. For the moment, we have some words asked by Constantina and also some comments in the chat. But Constantina, you can go on.
Yes, hello from me. Can you hear me? There were excellent presentations from each one of you. A lot of material to think about and search. And what is more about our meetings and our sessions, because they are ending today and tomorrow it is the final meeting. This doesn't mean that it is the end of anything. It is up to us to make synergies, to contact each other, to ask questions, to make suggestions, to visit areas, and maybe take it a step further. Because I didn't have the opportunity to, I didn't take the opportunity to have a presentation. I just wanted to say something from Jumerka Mountains in Greece, the national park, that just before entering the meeting, our session, this one, we were making with students and adults nests for the doves, to welcome the doves for the spring time, made by clay. So the next step is going to put them in special places in order for the doves to find homes to make their nests and eggs. Just a small part from what we're doing with students. And my idea was to make these things with adults also, not only small children. Thank you very much for, it was a very beautiful trip for me. I hope for you too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, as we were saying before in the conversation with Miguel and Tibor, I think that this project and similar projects afford the opportunity to get in touch, maybe randomly, because we are, let's say, a random group within the whole ENA project, which is I don't know, it's like 120 people. And if we count the former rounds of courses, like more than 200 people. So we are a subgroup randomly assembled. But this opportunity has been, I think, especially in the last sessions, has been very much. We have taken advantage of this opportunity to have this feeling of this diversity, of the complementarity of scales and approaches, as we said, and sometimes to discover new ways of approaching our own problems. So I think from that point of view, it has been quite rewarding. And maybe now it's like a pity, okay, this is going to finish. Now that we have already had some, some feeling of a group, etc. Okay, such is life. But we will have all your presentations in the platform to be shared with the group. And for those of you who have not presented this today or last week, we will ask you to prepare a short presentation, like 5 slides or 10 slides of your project or your area, or something that is important for you in your work for Natura 2000 or your work for nature conservation, and to send it to Maria as the final task of the course. In other words, the final task of the course is these presentations that you have already made. So Miguel or Pachi or Tibor, you are already done. Your presentation is your final task. Just make sure to send the PowerPoint to Maria so that it can be first shared with all of the group by way of the platform, and also let's say for the, let's say, formal purposes of the course, to be registered and recorded to say, okay, this guy did his or her final task and everything is okay, and you will receive afterwards a certificate. And those of you who had not, for example, Guillermo did not present anything. So Guillermo, you should prepare, I don't know, 5 slides of that project you talk about, but never really explain it in full. And we will share these slides with the group, so all the richness of this group will be finally, let's say, present in the platform and shared in some way. So we will give you some time for this. I don't know exactly now, but we will write an email saying, okay, the last date for sending this final task is whatever, maybe a week or 2. And from our part, that's mostly all. I don't know, Maria, if any other technical or personal comment?
No, not really. Thank you very much to all of you for attending these sessions, for following the course. We will ask you this final task. We also ask you, please, to go through the platform and complete all the previous tasks. They are super simple, but we need you to complete them. And there are some questionnaires at the end of each week. Please fill them in. They are super short too. And from my part, it's been a pleasure to be with you all. And it's what you say now, that we all know each other. We have to, well, begin another thing. It's life, like Santos said. But tomorrow, those of you that are available, we'll see. I can't remember the time. It's 11 at 11 CET in the link that Neil sent you. So a pleasure, really.
No.
Anyone else want to ask anything, or we just say see you tomorrow? Yeah, maybe we can.
Thank you. Thank you to all of
Clover
you.
stick or algo así tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Very interesting.